Hi, it's Taylor T. Carlson. I've got another video for you. Today is June 30th, 2019. It's the 24-year anniversary of the theatrical release of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. When I was a kid, I was very into the Power Rangers. I think most kids my age were, but Shout Factory has now released the film on Blu-ray. And how does this package measure up? How does the movie fare after 24 years? We're going to take a look back. This had previously been available from Shout Factory in a box set of the Power Rangers series on DVD, but it's taken about a year, but we finally have an individual release, and if you do want the movie, honestly, this is definitely worth picking up. It's a substantial upgrade from the older DVD package, and there's some great new bonus features as well, but we're going to get to those in a little while. The movie essentially picks up where the TV show left off around the middle of 1995, right after the second season had finished airing, and the Rangers are continuing to do their job, but they end up meeting a new threat in the form of an ancient villain named Ivan Ooze, who's been reawakened, and while he's distracting the Rangers in battle, he goes and destroys the command center, and the Rangers lose their powers, so they have to go on a quest to a distant planet to find new powers, while Ivan sets his planet in motion, reawakening sleeping giants he once used to divide and conquer. And will they get the power? Will they go back to Earth? Will they win? If you've ever watched the show, you obviously know the answer to that question. So, even knowing full well how this movie's going to end, what the conclusion's going to be, is it still a good movie? Does it hold up good all these years later? And I have to say, having revisited the Power Rangers franchise, I've been a little disappointed at how badly some of it has aged. I mean, on the TV show, you've got subpar acting, you've got one-off kids of the week who probably, if they get other jobs, shouldn't quit their day jobs, and it's always been more of a showcase for action, sci-fi, fantasy elements. The original TV show was actually a mashup of Japanese and American footage, and this movie was noteworthy because it's the first production in the Power Ranger franchise ever to not use any Japanese footage whatsoever. Being as this was a big-budget Hollywood production with a lot more money allotted towards it than the TV show, they were able to use a lot more resources. They redesigned the Ranger costumes. They filmed in Australia versus California, which they did for the TV show, and they've got a pretty diverse cast, which is not limited to the regular people on the show. And also, because this was a Hollywood production rated PG, they were able to do a little more in terms of structure than they could with the restrictions of television. There's actually a little bit of blood, there's a little more violence. You actually have a female character wearing a very suggestive outfit, and it's essentially stuff that never would have flown on the TV show. It's not that much more bold and daring, but you can tell more resources went into this film. And no review of this film would be complete without mentioning the new villain, Ivan Ooze. He was played by Paul Freeman, probably best known for his role in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he's easily the best thing in this film. It's a shame they didn't carry the villain over to the television series. Nonetheless, I have the same complaints with the movie I have with the TV show in a lot of ways. I mean, the acting's not the best. There's a lot of one-dimensional side characters, and it's really more a showcase for action, fantasy, special effects sequences. The choreographed martial arts and battles, those actually look really good. Those hold up surprisingly well all these years later. Where the movie does suffer, though, is its attempts at CGI. The Zords and the big monsters that we see in the film, they were made with CGI, but the problem is the technology just was not there to really do CGI on this scale. As such, the Zord battle scenes, they end up looking like really bad video game cutscenes. In retrospect, I'm surprised this level of CGI was able to make it into a professional Hollywood film. I mean, prior to this, you had Terminator 2, you had Jurassic Park. Their special effects were far superior to this, at least in terms of usage of CG. One other thing worth mentioning, unlike a lot of other productions in this franchise, this movie is not canon. It does not tie in with the seasons of the television show. It exists in its own continuity. It does its own thing. The season 3 first few episodes on TV, when kids got back from seeing this movie in the theaters and then they went to watch TV, they still had their season 2 Zords despite the fact that there'd been a movie. I'm sure there were a lot of kids who were really confused by this, myself included. And it's a shame that the movie itself is not canon because, honestly, I would rather watch this movie than I would the television series because, obviously, more resources went into it, and I think it's quite a bit more exciting and, to a lesser extent, concise. The TV show itself had a multi-episode story arc called Ninja Quest, which told this same story, but with the TV show budget and obviously a lot less interesting. I wish they'd just not done those episodes and just rendered this movie canon. Honestly, they would have saved a lot of money and the movie would have a more important, more appropriate place in the history of the franchise. If you already own Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie on DVD, is it worth upgrading to the Blu-ray? The answer is yes. First and foremost, picture quality. Unlike the TV show, which is primarily shot on videotape and just looks god-awful on DVD, this was shot on film like a major budget Hollywood production should be, and I don't know exactly if this was remastered, I don't know if it was cleaned up. It looks very good. I watched this upscaled on a 4K TV in a 4K player, and the picture quality is beautiful. I was surprised by how good it looked. I mean, obviously, the really cheap CGI looks pretty terrible, and you got a few soft shots which are based on the original nature of certain special effects, but in regards to a back catalog title, Shout Factory has outdone themselves here. It looks good. But of course, if you really want to get this movie, one thing you're wondering about is, are there any bonus features? I'm glad you asked. There are bonus features, one of which I would say is worth the price of admission alone. You get a brand new 45-minute retrospective with cast and crew on the making of the film, and there's a ton of information here. I absolutely loved watching this. Even if you don't have the best memories of the show, the movie, so forth, watch this featurette. You'll enjoy what you see. In addition to the featurette I just mentioned, there's also a theatrical trailer, and you've also got a really short little EPK type featurette. I believe this is the same featurette that was on the Pagemaster VHS tape. I don't have that, so unfortunately I can't verify. Yes, the Power Rangers franchise is hokey, it's juvenile, it's silly, but that doesn't change the fact that it's a lot of fun, and I love getting my hands on this Blu-ray and revisiting the movie. If you're a fan, even a casual fan, I strongly recommend picking up this Blu-ray from Shout Factory. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and I'll have more videos up in a few days. I try to aim for one video a week, so hopefully I'll have something up here in the next few days. This has been Taylor T. Carlson, and I'll see you on my next video.